The Week to Wicked Chevelle is done. We built it in a week like we said we would. And now it's time to hit the road on a 1,000-mile road trip to Arizona. I'd like to introduce John, my video guy. John, get over here. John is going to be coming with me. We're going to take this thing 1,000 miles through Arizona and see if it makes it. Let's do it. Arizona, here we come.
Better, boys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. Spark plugs are on their home. Cool deal. It's the fuel pressure regulator. So it's generating everything the pump has, which is flooding the motors. The whole tune-up is based on a 50 PSI fuel tune.
I'm going to leave that filter in place and just put a regulator after it so we can regulate the fuel pressure.
That's fine. That'll work great. So the entire fuel tune-up is based on 50 PSI. Right now the engine's generating like 150 PSI. It's actually looping the gauge around. So we're going to put a fuel pressure regulator on it so it doesn't do that anymore.
There's the problem right there. Cameras never stop rolling around here, do they?
Sounds a lot better. All right, guys. Take two. We just got to West Tech Performance. We had a few little teething problems in the morning. Fuel regulator let go, so we had about 150 PSI at the fuel rails instead of the 60 that we should have. So we swapped out the fuel regulator, we got it on the highway. It drives pretty nice, but we could use a little fine tuning. So we're gonna see what kind of horsepower it makes, and then we're gonna get on the road for Arizona. So we're here, we're strapped to the dyno, and we're gonna make a pull and see what kind of numbers the car puts down. All right, Eric, it sounded good. What are we looking at on the screen here?
We're looking at just about the exact same numbers, give or take 1 foot-pound and 0.4 of a horsepower. So that's really, really repeatable.
So
really nice to see.
A really consistent 450 horsepower and 424.9 pound-feet of torque.
Correct. Very repeatable.
Very cool. Well, it sounds great. We're gonna put it on the road and head out to Arizona. We just put the car in the dyno. It made 450 horsepower to the tires. It runs infinitely better. It doesn't die in gear. It starts up hot. It's smooth. We got our speedometer working. We had a tack, not quite anymore, but that's a problem for another day. It's running great, and it's time to get on the 10 and turn east toward Arizona. It's raining. We have no heat, no air. The windshield wipers don't really work. It's an adventure. Yeah, five more hours to go. We've been listening to the melancholic whine of the wipers for the last 45 minutes on their single speed, and just trying to keep visibility good and chase the car in front of us. We probably should have updated the headlights because they're not very bright, but so far so good. We got our gauges working again. We forgot to plug into the OBD2 cord after the dyno session. We're gonna stay the course and keep on this for about 4 more hours till we get to Arizona.
Staying awake.
Today we're gonna stop by Hot Rods by Dean and just kind of... Where's that coming from? Huh. Oh, that's something else to look at. All right, well, we'll check that out when we get to Dean's and see why it's leaking gas. Okay, good. We just pulled up to Hot Rods by Dean. We're gonna get the car in the air, just kind of give it the once over, make sure everything's okay, and then we're gonna get it back on the road. Runs great, starts hot, starts cold now. It's not kicking down. On the highway, it doesn't kick down. So I put 450 to the tire, and when you stand on it on the freeway to pass somebody, I think my Fiesta has more pickup.
What transmission is it?
480,
Okay. Whose controller are you using?
Atomic, MSC's Atomic. The sail panel windows work pretty good. I'm calling that my AC.
That is AC. The faster you go, the cooler it gets.
Exactly. We're about 450 miles into our week-long drive in the Week to Wicked Chevelle. And first leg went pretty good. We got our dyno done, and we're here at Hot Rods by Dean, and they're doing us a favor, just kind of taking a look at the car, giving it a once-over, checking the fluids, fixing a few little teething problems that popped up during the drive. Dean, can you tell us a little bit about what you're looking for, what we found here?
Yeah, we do safety inspections on a lot of cars, so we're glad to have you guys stop in. A beautiful Chevelle here that you guys put together, and we just checked over the suspension, nut and bolt check everything. We checked motor mounts, all suspension components, safety issues, majorly make sure everything, and we didn't find anything wrong other than a little fuel leak, which you had mentioned on the way over.
The guys did a great job here. We really appreciate them letting us stop by and just making sure that we're not gonna have any issues on the rest of the drive.
How's it handle off-road?
It's a little stiff, but we're going slow, and the car's actually dealing with the rocks pretty well. We're not doing anything stupid. We're on a graded road, but not a paved road. But we really kind of pushed this thing. We were, what would you say, like 10 miles into the Arizona desert here?
At least.
And in a car we built 5 days ago. Now we're turning south toward Tucson, and we're gonna make a pass in the drag strip and maybe shake the dirt out first, because they might yell at me if I get their track dirty, and see how fast this thing goes. Arizona is one continuous traffic circle.
How's it look?
We could use a little bit more. Did you pack the funnel?
Nope.
All right, let's go find a funnel.
We need a funnel. Put some trans fluid in.
Not so much party time.
Not so much party time.
Dollar time.
Money saving time. Fill her up.
All right. Back on our way to Tucson. Passes in the car. First pass was a 1376, just real gentle, taking it down the track for the first time just to see if everything was working. Second pass, we hit it a little bit harder, and it didn't work quite well. It didn't shift right. I had to let off the throttle to get the car to shift, and we went a lot slower, 14s, and then coming back down the return road, I flipped the lights on to check the gauges, and oil pressure was dropping. So we killed the car. We're just gonna check it out, make sure everything's okay. It's a CAN bus style gauge, so it could be an electronic problem, a wire got cut or burned or something. So we're gonna put a manual gauge on it and actually verify that the motor has oil. So we've got a little bit of work to do before we can make another pass with this thing.
We'll fire it one more time. We have oil up here.
Okay.
And let me see how much oil we have coming out. And then meanwhile, I want to check the training fluid too. So give me a good 10 seconds to check for oil and check the fluid before you shut it off.
10-4.
I don't want to run it that long, but yeah, go ahead and do that. Ready?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, kill it. Kill it. Yeah, you got no oil pressure. What it come up to, Nate?
30. It's not enough. It's not enough to run a motor, especially not enough to run a motor hard.
In my opinion, 15, 18, and when he revved it, that was 3,500 RPM. It only jumped to 35 to 40 range, and that's, in my opinion, that's not acceptable. I'd say let it cool. Let's let it cool for like a half an hour and try it again. We'll leave the gauge on it, and if it comes up past where I saw it before,
Put some thicker oil in it.
we'll drain the oil. I have lots of oil back there. Okay. The only thing I don't have is a filter. I have a filter cutter. We can cut it.
Check it out.
I believe there might be a 24-hour AutoZone around here somewhere. We can go get him a new filter. Yeah. And but yeah, we'll give it a half an hour and we'll see what happens. No problem, buddy.
All right,
no problem.
let's do this. What are you seeing on your gauge? Same? Has
40,
it changed?
42.
So
it
hasn't changed from what it was? Okay. So something's up.
If it was me, I mean, if it was me, I would just load it up and take it home. If it was me,
No,
I mean,
I agree.
Because it might be hot and it might be okay, but rather than hurt a very expensive motor,
It's holding heat for a long time.
yeah. Well, heat in oil, when your oil temperature rises, there's something wrong. Yeah, go ahead and hit the lights so I can watch and see what it's doing.
They're cool gauges.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go down.
Yeah, just go down like you're driving it normally. You can take it up to about 65, but just hit it.
We're at 10 pounds.
It's maintaining. Let's just change the oil in the morning and see what it comes of it.
Sounds good.
We'll cut the filter open at the same time.
Sounds good.
So if you want, what we could do is pull it around, and we'll just pull it right up inside of my shop, and I'll park my car somewhere else.
Just tell me where to go. We made a couple test hits down the drag strip. The car was reporting some low oil pressure, lower than we'd really like to see. So the guys at Tucson Dragway are really, really cool guys. They're letting us keep the car here overnight. We're gonna put it up on the lift in the morning, drain the oil, cut the filter open, just kind of check some things out. It's a new motor, we're going easy on it, we don't wanna hurt it. So we'll examine the oil, make sure there's no shavings, make sure everything's right. And then once we're sure everything's okay, we're gonna go out and we're gonna make another test hit. We are in pretty sweet CJ7 that Jim from the track was nice enough to let us borrow so we could get back to the hotel and take a shower for the first time in about 2 days.
We're gonna see what happens. Try to do a pass this morning, you think?
Fingers crossed, if we can figure out the oil pressure issue, we'll make a pass. Hopefully it'll be a much better number than yesterday. We got a beat on why the transmission wasn't shifting right. I was up pretty late doing my research thing, trying to figure out what we did wrong, and it looks like the RPM signal from the computer to the transmission is the wrong type of signal, but we can pull it from a coil. I can run that wire in like 10 minutes and the car should shift like it is supposed to. So we got a little bit of work to do, but hopefully this thing makes a number and we get to go home.
See all that gold dust coming down?
Yep.
That's not good.
Take it all the way off, just cut it and see what
Well,
we got.
yeah, I am. I got the filter cut already. I always like seeing what comes out first, you know?
Ooh, definitely good.
No, no sir. Last night we made a test pass and we hurt the motor. We lost oil pressure, we found some shavings in the oil. We talked to Blueprint and they said that no good, so we gotta do something. We're not ready to throw in the towel yet. We're gonna lift the motor. I've got Nate Berger here from Tucson Performance Race Shop, and we're gonna get this thing out. We're gonna take a look at the bearings. If the crank's not scored, we're gonna roll new bearings in it, and hopefully we'll make a pass before night. Okay, so what dealership is it? I'll call and see if we have bearings.
Watson Chevy?
Watson Chevy?
Yeah, see look how much metal's gone through this. See all that delamination?
Yeah.
That's
so
all
this
metal.
is what it should, not what it should look like, but you can
No.
see this bearing is silver still, which means it still has Babbitt material on it. Those bearings, the Babbitt is burned. They've gotten so hot and they've spun around so many times. So we pulled it out. We thought we could save it. We hoped we could roll some new bearings in, but unfortunately the block's too damaged and we're not going to be able to roll a new bearing in to put it back on the track. We knew building a car in 5 days and road tripping it through the Arizona desert would be hard. Turns out, it's harder than we thought. In 1 week, we tore the Chevelle down to a bare shell and changed everything. We didn't sleep, we had way too much caffeine, and we wrenched. By the end of it, there wasn't a single bolt in the car that remained unturned. We built something we were all proud of. But anyone who's ever built a project car knows that sometimes things just go wrong. And that's exactly what this was, a project. There were no scripts and no fictional timeline. This was real. We may have had to cut the last leg of our adventure short this time, but don't worry, we'll be back.